Page 17, Jingle Bells. Now, things just started getting interesting. A little more interesting. A little less boring. Depending on your point of view of life, that's what it is. The hands are going to be playing at the same time. In the past, it's been one hand or the other. Now it's at the same time. So let's look at it. Remember on an earlier video I was talking a little bit about how I approach a new piece of music. I look at the clef signs, look at the time signature, I get an overall, how long is it, how many pages or sections or something, how long is the piece, just generally, how long it is. Am I talking about a piece that's 1 page long, or am I talking about a piece that's 30 pages long or something? Yes, some pieces are that long. And then I'll go back, depending on the situation, or one of the things, this is not necessarily the order, but one of the things I like to do is study the hands one at a time and work out a fingering that works for each hand. Now here, in these method books, they pretty much give you the fingering. You don't have to work any of that out. Or sometimes I will suggest other fingerings you can try, and then you can experiment and pick what you like. Or if you have a teacher, they may tell you the fingering they want you to use. But that's not going to be that way forever. Eventually you're going to get a new piece of music and you're going to have to try and understand, well, how do I finger this to make it work? Well, when you're in a 5-finger position, that's not hard because every finger's on a key and you're just covering it like so. But when you start moving around, that doesn't work anymore. What you don't want to do, I think I've explained this before, is just read finger numbers and don't read the notes, just read the finger numbers, because it's like at the beginning here, right hand, third finger's here, so I'm just going to use third finger as long as I'm playing a note on that bottom line. And then in that third measure over, I can see, well, this second note is 2 notes up, so it's here, and then the next note is way down here. I'm not thinking notes so much, I'm thinking about fingers. And I'm trying to get it across to you that that is a mistake, don't do that. They're giving you an idea of the fingering to start with, but you need to know the names of the notes. So one of the things you still need to do is say the names of the notes. You can forget the rhythm when you do it if you need to. Just say the names of the notes to drill it into your head what they are. Getting back to my approach, I got off there. I get my little rants and I get going. I'm going to take the note of the hand separately. So the right hand first. So you have these E's at the beginning, and you got quarter notes and half notes. Hopefully you can handle that. And then you go to the third measure over where the notes get a bit jumbled up. So then you have the E and the G and then the C. Okay, and then the next line it's an F, and the next measure you have some E's, and then the D. And the third line is the same as the first. And yes, you'll learn to recognize this kind of thing because it makes the piece shorter to learn. Because if you've learned the first line, you've automatically learned the third. So already, instead of 4 lines long, this piece, you only got 3 lines to learn. Then the last line is similar to the second line except for the last couple measures. So the last line and the last couple measures, you have G's, and then F and a D and a C. Those are the notes, and then you get the rhythm. Maybe you can do the notes and the rhythm at the same time, but if not, then you just get the notes and the fingering first, then you can go back and add the rhythm. Then you count it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and all that junk, and you get that. Once you know the rhythm, you don't have to count it anymore. You're just counting when you're first starting to learn a song to get it down and reinforce it, what the rhythm is, and then you feel it after that. That's the right hand. Left hand, you got these chords in the bottom. You have a C and a G. Yes, when I'm looking at a chord and I'm not sure, because a chord can be 10 notes long, who knows. Start with the bottom note and you figure it out, and then you take each note in the chord up. It's called spelling out the chord. You figure it out that way. So I have a C and I have a G, and that's my chord. Put my hand in that position, I drop the hand. That's good until I get to the second line, the third measure. Now we got the D. It's the same thing, I'm still dropping the hand, it's just one finger is down here. And then G, and back to the chord. And that's good to the last line, the last 2 measures. you have a D and a G, and then a G, and then here. So each time I'm just relaxing, letting the weight push the notes down. I'm doing the same thing in the right hand, it's just different notes and different fingers being used. So it's like, okay, we got two hands going on here at the beginning. So in the right hand you have that third finger going on, in the left hand you got this chord going on. You're going to play them at the same time, and you're going to hold the left hand down because it's a whole notes, because it's 4 counts. So it's a 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the idea. And then the next measure, you can play them again. 3, 4. And that's how it works. So once you have each hand individually worked out, you go back and you put them together. It's a whole new adventure sometimes, trying to get them to work together. This says loud, the 4F at the beginning, it's loud. That's the melody. The idea is, the melody is what is important. The melody rules. It's all about the melody. We're here for the melody. Everything else supports the melody. Some pieces don't have a melody. Don't worry about those right now. Just focus on what I'm after here. The melody. The dynamics given apply to the melody. I was in college before I learned that. Nobody bothered to teach me. I used to play this stuff like this. Sounded fine to me because I wasn't really listening. I didn't know how to listen to music yet back then. I'll cover that too as we go through these videos. Right now, we want to focus on the melody. I want to hear this, not this. This is in the background. That means you got to play the melody louder than the other stuff. The melody is left, forte, loud. The other stuff is under it. How under? You have to experiment. Maybe you want it way under, so you can hardly hear it. How soft can you play that? Can you play one hand louder than the other? Can I play this soft and this loud? That takes practice. This is one of the things you can do with the scales. If you're doing the scale videos, do the C major scale. 1 octave up and down, learn it. But you can practice playing one hand louder than the other and take turns of which hand is loud. What you do in one hand, you should be able to do in the other in most cases on piano. Here, we want to hear the melody. The other stuff is in the background. You can sort of hear it back there, but it's not getting in the way is what I'm saying. And that's what we're after here. There are no other dynamic marks given, so the whole thing according to them is loud. I'll get more into that as we go through the book, because that's not totally, but for now that's close enough. Just play it loud, the melody loud. You'll have to decide what loud is again, because it's different for different people on different occasions and different situations. Says merrily up at the top. Normally this would be where the tempo goes. The tempo is how fast you're going to play it. Merrily is not a tempo, it's a mood. Well, that's okay, because music is a mood. Hopefully, it's an emotional experience. So it's like a language to the emotions. It talks to the emotions. So if you'll think merrily and try and pretend to be merrily, depending on what mood you're really in, that's what they're after. And that'll sort of dictate how fast you, well, that and the words will dictate how fast you're going to go. Because if you're going to sing it, how fast would you sing it? I don't know. I ain't singing it, but you can sing it. So that's how this works. Now when we do the play with me again, I'm not doing the dynamics. I want to play all the notes so you can hear all the notes. So I may not bring out the melody. I'll just do this. You know, occasionally if I demo a piece, I will do that, but not in the play with me. I just play the notes so you can hear them. Speaking of play with me, let's try this together slowly to check the notes and the rhythms. So you're in C position. I'll give us 4 counts and we'll do the whole thing. And we go slow, so you have time to hear the notes and all. You can speed it up on your own later. 1, 2, ready, go.